So much store is put on pinning your gear down and blending in with the lake bed these days. Obviously we're talking about terminal tackle. What are these leaders all about, Dave? Because I know, well, you actually mentioned it a minute ago when we were chatting, you actually never cast out without one of these now.
No, I don't. No, I use them all the time. I've got a couple actually out of the bag here. What they are basically, they're a polyurethane leader, which quite a few companies market now. But all of these types of leaders have a clear mono inside, usually around 35 pound breaking strain, which if you imagine a 35 pound piece of mono, it's quite stiff. So a lot of the leaders will sit up off the bottom, you know, and sort of defeat the object of what you're trying to achieve. And what we've done is we've developed this new style of leader, and it's actually got a braid running through it.
Right.
And it's the only one that has. So it's like a polyurethane coated braid, and that makes it so much more limp.
A lot more supple, yeah.
Yeah, so that obviously when that lays on the bottom, that's going to follow the contours of the bottom, whereas a stiff one with mono in is going to stick up.
Sure.
So I'd say it's not what you're trying to achieve. We do them in 3 colours and a clear to match whatever bottom you're fishing over. This is the muddy brown, and you can see that it's not a solid colour. It's sort of semi-translucent, if you like. You can see through to the coloured braid.
Breaks up, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's like a clear coating on a coloured braid, but it's like a camouflage braid, if you like.
Yeah.
So it's in different sections, so that when that lays on the bottom, that breaks up the outline of it, which is exactly what you're trying to achieve. Camouflage.
So what are the other two? That's brown.
This is the brown one, and then we've got a silk, a sort of a blacky silk coloured one, real dark one, and then we've got a green one, which is various colours of green, for obviously fishing over weedy green, muddy brown and silky black. And there's also a clear one, and obviously being a clear one, that's, you know, still got the mono in the middle, but it's people you know really like. I like it in certain conditions, especially shallow water, bright conditions. It just completely disappears on the bottom.
Excellent. And I notice obviously it's looped at one end.
It's looped at one end, and they're fused loops. They've got no edges.
Right.
It's completely and utterly smooth, which obviously is nicer for fishing. We didn't get any bits caught in it, but that really comes into effect when you go onto the helicopter or chod leader, which I'll show you in a minute. This one comes just with a swivel when you attach your own lead clip of choice.
Perfect.
Yeah, so this is for lead release systems.
So the swivel's already included on
the swivel's included in there. It's fused in at the other end.
Yeah. So perfectly safe then, isn't
it?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, completely and utterly safe. And you can use that for running lead, anything really. You know, a complete replacement for lead cores. And also we do this one, which is more aimed at chod users,
right?
You know, helicopter rigs. Now this comes with a lead clip fused into a loop on the end.
Oh, like a quick change clip?
Yeah, quick change clip, so you can just put on any size of lead you want, and a sleeve to cover it.
Right.
So that's the bottom end. It's fused loop at the top, same as the others.
So again, like you said before, there's no knot there, there's no ridge or anything.
No, nothing at all.
That bead should come
and
off
then
nice and easily.
What we've got here is an adjustable bead system. It's a 2-part system, slides up to wherever you want. The inner is quite a tight fit, so that's going to hold, you know, wherever you want. If you lick it a bit, you can slide it up to whatever height you want. And the bead, you just damp the sleeve. The bead you can put on as tight as required.
Right.
You know, so if you was using a chod on this swivel, it's got a large eye swivel that also comes on you know, supplied with it.
Okay.
This is just going to fly up in flight to your required depth, whatever silt or weed you're fishing over, and that bead comes off easily off the back. Now the bead itself's got, if you look at that, it's got a much larger bore than a normal rig bead.
I can see that.
And that's the idea, that this then travels up, and this is where the seamless loop comes into effect. That just passes straight over the top.
Very little effort there, is it, to take that off?
Your rig will take that up, large eye swivel. It's coming off every time. And the best method of attaching these is just simply to form a loop on the end of your main line, pass it through, and then drop the whole rig through, so it's loop to loop. That's the strongest method and the smallest knot. So this bead and this safety swivel and your rig, if you were to crack off, you know, the fish can just shake that bead off and drop the whole lot.
Brilliant. What about the lengths? What sort of length is it?
We're doing 3 different lengths. We do a 20 inch, a 36 inch, and a 48 inch. So covers all situations.
Right,
really.
you'd use the shorter one if you're chucking it further.
Yeah. The longer leader you use, the more distance you lose. You know, on the cast. Personally, I mean 36 I think is perfect.
It's a good all-rounder.
Yeah, it gives you a nice drop. But there are situations where you may want a longer leader, depending what you're fishing through or on. Maybe you're fishing on a top of a quite sharp bar and you want that extra bit of protection.
Brilliant. I'm impressed with those. I really like those.
Yeah, I think they're
lots of features. I think all of them.
I think they're the next generation
Yeah.
of this type of leader, without a doubt. You know, the braid makes such a big difference to the finished product.
Brilliant. Should we take a look at some in the water?
Yeah, excellent. Right, as you can see here, even in this shallow gin clear margin, which is the most exposed you're ever going to get, where your fishing is going to be a lot more coloured than this, but even in these clear margins you can see clearly the bait sitting there, and then as you pan along the lead stands out, but once you get to the leader you can see that broken effect, the way it lays across that two coloured bottom there. It just appears like little pieces of straw, little strands of weed, blends in against the gravel. You compare that to a jet black or dark brown line of a lead core leader, and the difference is incredible. And you can see how it bends and wants to hug the bottom. Totally camouflaged. They're not going to pick up on that as a piece of fishing equipment at all.